Chapter 2. The Spirit of Unhealed Wounds. The room was dark and musty, like a cellar. The old iron stairway now loomed much larger in the distance. Wide steps spiraled up and out of sight. I could not see the end or where they led. Practically speaking, they should have gone to the floor that resembled a movie set. I waited a moment, still standing in the doorway. It seemed empty, but I was impressed to look around again. On my second perusal, I spotted a bundle in the corner. I felt a stab of danger in my heart. What was it? I got a good solid grip on my sword and approached the heap slowly. I could smell danger, an acidic smell mixed with the moldy odor already there. I paused a short distance away. The bundle moved, and an old gnarly finger poked out of the huddled figure. I knew it was some sort of being. Angel or demon? I waited, sword ready. What is it, Lord? I thought. It is the spirit of unhealed wounds, he answered in my thoughts. It did not seem to have much power left, but I felt it could still be dangerous. I heard Jesus say, "This is an old spirit that has damaged many. It is resting. Put it to rest once and for all." I knew this one act could set so many free. I raised my sword and moved closer. It moved sluggishly, but too late to see what was coming. For a moment I felt sorry for it. Caught unaware in its rest, hiding in the stairwell of a great castle. Why is it here? Stop thinking! Jesus interrupted my thoughts. I shook my head, realizing the creature was putting those thoughts in my mind. I moved in quickly and drove my sword through the top of its head, down through the middle of its body, and all the way into the floor, pinning it where it sat. Its shrieks split my eardrums as it struggled to see what was happening and free itself. Its outer garment loosed, and I saw an old, almost petrified woman with long, gray-green claws underneath. Her mouth was filled with razor-sharp teeth protruding through her skeletal cheekbones. Light flashed from evil green eyes as she moaned and slumped over dead, green liquid pooling on the floor. When I pulled my sword out, something very interesting happened. It left a shell like a husk inside of her body. My sword shone brighter gold, and the leaves were growing and glowing. There were now 4 leaves on the handle instead of 2. I stood with my sword, leaves glowing bright green, and turned to face the metal stairway. I sensed Lyon all around me, his great face in the room, his eyes burning into me. All of a sudden I heard popping and banging. Windows opened in the walls where there were none before. Bam, bam, bam! It was so loud I had to put my hands over my ears. As one at a time they banged into sight until the room was wall-to-wall windows, including the wall shared with the waiting room. The air became fresh and crisp. The windows all stood open and I could smell the clean air. I looked through my new window into the waiting room. It was filled with the people who had rushed in and out before. In front of them stood the man whom Lyon had healed and whose feet I had washed. My small cape flapped behind him as a mighty wind blew around his body. The people looked down at their feet, stained red from the carpet, and then up at the sight of all around as angels and saints brought in buckets and brushes. The people began to weep as the angels and saints scrubbed them with their soft brushes. It started to rain in the waiting room, and all of the people cried and laughed as they washed each other. At the restored man's direction, the sight was mesmerizing. The rain became a downpour. Thousands of bedraggled people streamed into the enormous waiting room, crawling, running, limping, coming up for the washing from everywhere. I knew the room would only grow and grow as more came in. I watched this powerful cleansing with a huge lump in my throat. Lyon roared in the rain cloud. His thunder was majestic, and I could see his face behind the cloud, hovering over the entire room. By following the voice of the Holy Spirit inside of me, I had killed the spirit of unhealed wounds and released these people to come and be cleansed in the waiting room. Now they were cleaning each other. I knew it was time to leave, so I headed to the iron stairs. One last glimpse through the window showed a joyful celebration as the people jumped, leapt, and danced all around Lyon while he licked them clean with his giant tongue.